Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. Right now I have a great match for you as we continue on with the GAN Race Survival series. We have ZhanHun, who's on quite the winning streak at the moment, going up against our last Korean Terran player in BishOp. You know, there's a lot of fans of BishOp that watch this channel. He's had some great games lately. Very technical Terran, excellent at micro, really good decision making. Definitely someone, you know, he's been in ASL some, but it does seem like he's likely to become a regular pretty soon here. But let's see if he's got what it takes to take down our Chinese Protoss in ZhanHun. You know, obviously Scan lost. He ended up losing due to it being, well, his initial defense was slightly off, which allowed a lot of pressure, and then a DT drop came from ZhanHun that he was just unable to block. And, you know, that can happen to anybody. Now, I don't expect to see the same type of thing again here, but we'll see what ZhanHun is up to. This map is Fighting Spirit, so it's an old one. There's a lot wrong with it, but honestly, like, this position is the best one for Terran. Just to make this clear, right? Like, it's got a giant main base. The gas is not in the way of anything. Your minerals are right in the corner, very nice. And your ramp is behind where your command center goes, basically, right? Now, that being said, positionally speaking, ZhanHun, his position is good against bishops because his natural, like right outside his natural ramp right there, you walk about 2 steps and you're at the third base of bishops. So, if this turns into a game where ZhanHun goes, like, let's say, Reaver and 4 gates, and bishop wants to take a third base, that's going to be incredibly, incredibly hard. Now, we don't know, obviously, what the openers are going to be at all, so I don't want to get too deep into that, but if it starts going that way, we'll talk about it a little bit more, and I'll show you why that is and how crazy that can be for Fighting Spirit. So anyways, both of them going for a little bit of late scouting here. Well, I guess Bishop's is pretty on time, but Bishop's actually going for what looks like it's probably going to be a full wall, which is a little bit surprising. He has done this while going for an extremely fast factory. So this is an 11 gas fact. And we'll see. I mean, I imagine this is going to be a full-walled expansion. This used to be the way that you played TVP, was a full wall. You almost never see it anymore. And I'll explain that in a second. Let's just take a look. Okay, he's finding ZhanHun first. And that's huge, because then you sit here and you're like, oh, no Zealot. Okay. So we know how many Marines that we need, basically, like 2 if you want to make a bunker, 3 if not. And yeah, so great intel there for Bishop. But anyways, a lot of people ask why you don't have these anymore, like a wall in like this. First off, it screws up circulation of units going in and out of your base. Having to path around does make a difference. And also, like, there were builds where there would be a lot of pressure put on your depots. And since you have to stop those pressure builds, make Marines anyways, and people have gotten very good at micro, it's better to just make your depots near your command center to save that time, that travel distance, right? Get that extra mining time, and just utilize well-microed Marines for defense. And, oh, hold the phone. We're seeing an FD Terran build. I was not even looking for this, but that's exactly what we're seeing. Kind of an interesting hiding spot right there. This is a good one. Not really going to see Dragoons chase it to there. Nexus on the way. Okay, so this is what we're seeing, guys. FD Terran. It's called FD because it's a fake double. So you basically, once upon a time, 2 factory openers were popular against Protoss. And I hear this a lot from people in like lower leagues and stuff, that it's still used there. Okay. But at high level, 2 factory doesn't do anything anymore. It's easy to read and you just kind of stomp it. Now, back when it was popular, people do this FD build. So it's a fake double factory. So it looks very similar or the same based on what your move out may be. Generally, it's 2 tanks into mines, and yeah, he's even going 7 Marines, which is pretty heavy. But so you would basically make it look like a 2 factory, getting your opponent to play extremely carefully against that, right? Like, they might even go an all-in counter against 2 fact, because all you have to do against 2 fact is stop it. But you expand behind this. Now, the problem is, well, FD doesn't really exist anymore. Micro, especially on turn rate 24, is so good that generally you don't get damage done. Now, these guys might have a little latency between them because China does have the firewall and everything. So I'm not sure entirely what this is being played on, but just throwing that out there. Now, let's see if he can hold. Okay. Ooh, doesn't quite get that last shot. Oh, he does end up getting that last shot. Very, very big. 4 goons, 2-shot a tank. So that's what he was going for. He does end up killing one of the siege tanks, but now mine's going down. He has to pull those probes back. He has lost some probes. The important thing is to not lose the Nexus. Can he keep the Nexus alive? If this Nexus goes down, very, very good for BishOp. If the Nexus doesn't go down, ZhanHun probably will be fine. Now he's making a probe out of here. We'll see if he cancels that. He might just run. Okay, he's trying to do pulse. Ooh, he does kill off that. And in fact, uses the probe to tank damage while he moves forward. I like it. I like it. He is trying his best right now to just make sure that the hits are not going on the Nexus. Instead, they're going towards Dragoons a little bit more. Siege mode is done. Oh my god. I'm kind of surprised about siege mode, honestly. I don't know that that was the right move, because I feel like as soon as you get siege mode, Protoss gets to do whatever they want micro-wise. And yeah, he's just gonna kind of walk in, and as soon as you actually dive on the tank, it can't micro back any longer. So, oh, he needs one more hit. Okay, gets that back. So a lot of goons fell. A lot of goons. This one will be able to clear up everything that's left. Obviously wants to save that probe as well. The observer helping him out. And we're going to take stock of where we're at after this as soon as this vulture's dead, because that's the important thing here is what did the FD Terran push actually end up doing? And honestly, it ended up doing more than I thought it would. Okay, so 31 probes, gets mining again, 2 gate observer. We have the command center up, and we have 28 SCVs. So we are going to be within 2 or 3 workers the entire time. Second factory is almost done. He's getting some turrets up. Siege mode is done. Mines are done. Speed on the way. Yeah, you can't be unhappy with this position as BishOp. You can't be. It's solid. There's nothing wrong here, right? Like normally Protoss, if you can just kind of make it be even with Protoss, then that's pretty good for Terran. So I know that sounds weird, right? But like, if you look at it and you're like, okay, like the workers are pretty close. Well, I guess we're getting a little bit ahead for ZhanHun. Maybe a little hiccup in the supply for BishOp that I wasn't looking at. But normally at this point, you would have a third base for Protoss up, right? Like 6:30 is about as late as you normally get it. But when a push like that comes, it screws with everything. So the third base is going to be a lot slower than, you know, what we're used to in this matchup. ZhanHun getting ready to take it now. There you go. Nexus goes down, but again, that's about 1 minute and 30 seconds later than a 2-gate observer build will generally get it. Now he's going into Reaver as well. Second add-on for BishOp. So if he's getting a second add-on right now, by the way, and he has an armory? Oh, this is fascinating. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. It looked like a timing push to me, and it might be like a +1 6 factory push that he's going to go for. That sounds best to me. Or it could be 5. Notice I has 3 SCVs here. Okay. So he is going 5 fact immediately. The observer sees this all though, right? But this is, yeah, when you see the second add-on that quickly, it becomes pretty obvious that it's a timing push. Like you don't need that many tanks if you're playing a more economic game. But anyways, he's going for that 5 factory. So ZhanHun at this point should just make a bunch of gateways and like make sure that his Reavers are around. So here comes the first Reaver drop. Gets dropped out, forces the SCVs back. Siege tanks coming up to try to clear it. You know, the turret takes 2 Reaver hits, so if you repair it at all, it takes a 3rd. That's what he was going for right there. Gonna want to start some more turrets most likely, and definitely a couple Goliaths on the way. There is the 6th factory, actually. That makes more sense now. As I mentioned, when you see +1, generally it's a 6 fact. 5 fact is faster if you don't get the +1. But anyways, the Reaver drop continues. He's clearing some mines at the front. He's causing lost mining time, and that's what he's looking for. Like obviously, if he gets damage, huge. Oh, he even gets a tank and 2 Marines. Not bad, not bad. But with the Goliaths coming out, Like, and he has to know that Goliaths are coming out. He sees the armory there, so it's not like any big surprise that you're going to make Goliaths at this point to push it out. Yeah, I think he's done a good job thus far, slowing it down. Now, 2 more gates, so he's going up to 7 gateways on 3 bases, 53 probes. That's very solid 3-base economy. And if he just produces nonstop off the 7 gates and micros his Reavers and shuttles very well, it's holdable. It's holdable. Now, a 6-fact +1, like, it can just end up winning. It's going to come down to the engagement. And almost always it's the first engagement that we have. Either you smack Protoss units or Protoss units smack you, right? Like, that's that's oftentimes what we're looking at with these 6-fact builds. But ZhanHun's counter is, like, just right. Citadel even coming up, Forge, he'll get legs with that. And if he can slow it down enough, get into speed lots and help that, have that help him break it. Range coming up here for the Goliath, so he can push back those shuttles a bit better. Shuttle speed is on the way as well, so just to mention. He'll have a bit of maneuverability with that. Academy coming up. That mobile detection, very important. Maybe pick off some observers on the way as well. I'm kind of on the edge of my seat right now, honestly, right? Because ZhanHun doesn't get to choose anything at this point. He's already chosen what he wants to do to counter it. In my opinion, this is the right play. He's just massing up, but he has to wait for BishOp to walk out. When BishOp comes out, that's when it all begins. Now, obviously, there's a big supply differential. 17 of that supply is in probes. So, you know, still, that's a big army advantage for ZhanHun still. Now, BishOp is coming out. Let's zoom out a little bit to see what this is looking like. 2 speed shuttles, 1 with Zealots, 1 with Reavers. Now, I think optimally, you have the Reavers already out taking a few pot shots. That's definitely what Snow would do. ZhanHun may have a different idea, and his idea is to go into the main base. He's going to go ahead. He puts the Zealot shuttle in first and drops everything off. Oh my god, he is going for it. But counter push coming in here from BishOp. The Dragoons catch a lot of those Vultures. Let's look back over at the drop. Looks like he saves his Reavers, and the Dragoons running away. So, I mean, he only killed like 3 SCVs, honestly. I'm not sure how good that was. Zealot legs are not ready. Comes into the center with the Reavers, gets them both out. Oh my god, a big mine hit. And guess what, guys? ZhanHun taking down another Korean pro gamer Terran. Oh my god, he is up 50 supply right now. This is a terrible, terrible spot for BishOp. What in the world are you supposed to do from here? Guys, it's bad. ZhanHun immediately takes another base in the bottom right. In fact, BishOp kind of headed in that area. He has to know, like, oh god, this is this is bad. I have to try to make sure he doesn't grow too much. That is one thing about Fighting Spirit, right? It has only 12 bases on it. And, well, it has this one in the center, which actually occasionally can be taken, but it's kind of rare. But with the 12 bases, if you can, like, stop them from getting down here for a little bit, you're basically keeping them on 3 base, and then you actually can come back. As is, like, BishOp's still going to try. And there's still a little chance. It's going to require ZhanHun's help, though, right? ZhanHun is going to have to attack poorly into BishOp twice, I would say. That's my read for this situation. If he attacks poorly into him twice, then I think BishOp is going to be fine. You know, we don't even see, like, a 3rd command center yet. I think he will start one. Because, like, these mineral patches are starting to get low. Even if ZhanHun attacks poorly into him twice, he's going to probably need the 3rd command center to last long enough to kill him. So let's see. ZhanHun coming from 2 sides. Going to run some Zealots through the mines. He's just trying to clear mines as quickly as possible. That's why he's throwing the Zealots away. You could technically do it with only the Dragoons, but I don't mind throwing one in there just to kind of get a feel for where everything's at. Push everything back a little bit. You want to keep Terran back and as turtled as possible. I like the mines in some of these expansion locations. Unfortunately for him, ZhanHun getting ready to take yet another base, going up to 5 Nexuses here with that bottom right natural. High Templars going out to join. High Templars are basically the perfect unit at this point. Just any push that comes across. So here's the thing, right? So if Bishop does a very slow spread push that has like some missile turrets in it, right, and everything's spread, that gives ZhanHun more time to take more expansions and kind of run around the map a bit more. If Bishop tries to do any push where he, let's say he gets up to 150, 160 and tries to just go, well, that's where Psystorm gets him because he'll be too clumped up, right? So Psystorm basically forcibly slows the push or kills Terran when they push clumped. And if you can do that, then it's like, well, it's 5 base against 2. So any bot time is gigantic. Look at this. Bishop's still laying mines. He's going to have to clear these when he comes out, if ZhanHun doesn't clear them himself. And yeah, it's tough right now. It is a very, very tough game. He is going up into his 2-2. There's that third command center we were talking about. This game, like, we could see ZhanHun try to deny that third base. I'd imagine we will. And the thing is, he can seesaw back and forth so quickly from trying to deny this to hitting in here, right? There's not a lot of vision on the map for Bishop. You know, he's got a few mines and that's it, and occasionally a scan. So looks like he wants to actually push into the turtled position. Not my favorite move, but you know what? He's getting the Psystorms down. The Psystorms are good. Very high quality Psystorms. Look at that. Smashing so much. And even though he'll end up losing a ton of units there, a ton of supply, still up 50. Right, still up 50 supply here. And he's got such a large economy at this point as well. Ooh, the Archon gonna give me with 1 health. What? Oh my god. That's funny. That's not something you see every day right there. The 1 health Archon that's been morphing under siege tank fire gets away. All right, command center floating up towards that third base. ZhanHun. Let's see. I think he'll shove up there. I don't see a reason not to. It's so hard for Bishop to get a big enough army anywhere to stop ZhanHun from doing anything right now. The supply differential just so gigantic. Yeah, it tries to drag some mines over. And, you know, even though he loses, like, basically all the Zealots, a couple get on top of tanks, forces everything else up there. The 1 hit point Archon with 9 kills. Still absolutely killing it. He might, if he right-clicks everything on here, then he can actually kill it. It looks like maybe a little bit too late for that. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Never mind. That Archon adding a lot of damage there. Ugh. What a terrible situation. Arbiter is on the way as well, and that's a whole nother problem. Arbiters are extremely strong on fighting spirit because the bases are very cramped, the third bases. So as soon as you do a recall, like if there's mines in here, it basically kills all the SCVs. Right? You just recall on the SCVs, and it's a good move, trust me. So, yeah, ZhanHun almost doubled the supply right now of Bishop. Bishop with so little chance left. Really kind of amazing, by the way, watching Team Korea pick up 0 map wins. 0! And very strong players, too. Bishop and Scan and Haya. No one to laugh at right there. No one like, oh, why is he playing or something like that, right? So, great showing so far by the Chinese players. Look at this. Psystorms as he shoves up this ramp. Honestly, this is probably it. There's no reason for Bishop to stay in the game at this point. It's so absolutely clear he has no chance. And yeah, ZhanHun pushing up. He's going to get everything. GG! Team Korea is out.